Good morning. My name is Patrick Allen, and I'm an interviewer for the Veterans History Project for the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. The program in Southwest Ohio is carried on through the Cincinnati Hamilton County Public Library under the direction of Brian Powers. And we are fortunate today, August the 26th, to interview a Korean War veteran at his home in Miamisburg, Ohio. Thomas Hart.
Okay, please.
Thank you for doing this interview.
Pleased to meet you.
Do you go by Thomas or Tom?
Oh, call me Tom.
Tom?
Tom's
Okay.
good enough.
All right, Tom. Before we get into your military career, I always like to get into your personal history. What were your mom and dad's names?
Well, my dad's name was Frank G. Hart. My mother's name was Alberta Hart. Alberta Barber, before she married.
Barbara was her maiden name?
Right, her last name, right.
Her name was Roberta?
Alberta.
Alberta. Where was Alberta from?
She's from Dayton. From Dayton. She's born in Dayton, as far as I know. And my dad was born in Miamisburg.
All right.
Okay.
What did your dad do? What was his occupation?
Well, my dad was several different things, but really I could say, this is kind of funny. I used to call my dad a doctor. He was a tree doctor, a tree surgeon.
Okay.
He went to Davy Tree, where he did work for a Davy company years ago, landscape gardener.
All right.
Okay, that's what he was. Yeah, we put it that way.
And how about your mother? Did she work outside the home?
Well, I understood she worked at the Frigidaire years ago. During the war, she worked up Frigidaire. World War before that, she worked at Frigidaire, General Motors.
Do you have any idea what she did in production for General Motors
No,
during the
I
war?
don't know that too much. I've got too much on her history. Okay.
Do you have any idea when your mom and dad got married?
Well, I'm going to assume. I don't know. My dad never did tell me.
Well, let's start with when you were born. When were you born?
I was born September 22nd, 1930. That's what they tell me. That's the fall of the year, the weather changed.
Did you have any siblings?
Brothers and sisters.
How many brothers
I
and
had
sisters?
a sister older than me. Like I told you before, she's 11 months or so.
What was her name?
Her name was Nancy.
Is Nancy still living?
No, Nancy. Yes, Nancy's still living. She's in the rest home right now, though. Her husband wasn't to run off and left her, so and she ended up in the rest home.
What was Nancy's married name?
Baker, Nancy Baker. Okay.
Where is she in the rest home? Is she in Dayton or
No, she's in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati?
Now I had another brother, 2 years younger than me. His name was Franklin Kenmore, and he died when he was 10 years old. He fell off a truck or something out of it. So Bert died, I guess.
Oh, wow.
He was 2 years younger than me. Then I had another brother, 4 years younger than me, William Hart, Bill Hart. He was in the service, but he was in Florida, and he's buried in the military cemetery down in Florida, and I don't know exactly where that is. I didn't go to the cemetery. I went to the funeral, but they wasn't putting him in the cemetery at the time.
You remember what city it was in?
Well, he was at Lady Lake, is what it was.
Okay.
Lady Lake. I don't know what that's near. I've been there a couple of times, but I can't recall.
What branch of the service was Bill in?
He was in the Army. He was in the Army.
Where did he serve? Do you remember?
Well, no, he was in Hawaii. I don't know where all he went.
Okay.
As far as I know, he went west. No, he said he was in Korea too, but he went there after I did. So he wasn't there when the war was going on. He went there afterwards. Yeah, and he was well. He smoked too much. That's what got him was lungs.
Okay.
Lung smoking got him.
All right.
Okay, and then I got another sister, Marguerite. She's youngest one. There was 5 of us to begin with, and she's living with her daughter in North Carolina right now.
Where in North Carolina does she live?
Well, she lived in Hawaii But she married a guy at Hawaii. He worked for, well, he was the vice president of Low Airlines in
Okay.
Hawaii. And they folded up. They went out of business. When he passed away, that was her downfall. She just couldn't take it.
She started downhill from there.
Well, her mind, you got too much on your mind, and that's her problem right now. She's
So
still
what's her married name?
Hale, Hale, Hale.
Okay. She lives with her daughter?
Lives with her daughter.
Where in North Carolina does she live with her daughter?
Yeah, I can't think of that town right now.
The big town or little
Oh,
town?
it's a little town there, yeah.
Okay.
I can't think of the town name.
What's your birth date? When were you born?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's September 22nd, 1930.
1930.
Well,
So you're going to soon to be 92 years old.
what's the day? 22nd of this month?
Yeah, 26th.
Well, less than 30 days, yeah.
Yeah. Good.
You can call it 92 if you want to.
Well, how do you feel today? How's your health doing?
Well, I don't feel half bad, but some days you kind of feel kind of tired,
Uh-huh.
Other days you don't, I don't know. My dad lived to be 97 years old,
Well, good.
and when he passed away, he says, my body aches all over. He's tired. I said, what's wrong? He said, everything. Wore out.
How old was your mother when she passed away?
Well, she passed away young. She's probably 60 or so, 55, 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where were you born?
Well, I was born in Springboro.
Which is south of Dayton, Ohio.
Right, that's not too far from here. Yeah, I was born on a horse farm over there.
You were born at home instead of the hospital?
Well, now I'm going to take that back. Now, that says Springboro. Maybe that's wrong. I actually was born in the hospital. Dayton, actually.
Okay.
But I call Springboro where I was born. You know where it is.
Because that's where you lived after you were born.
Oh, that's where I lived before I was born, after I was born, all that stuff.
Where'd you go to school?
Springboro.
Grade school?
Springboro. I had a picture of that old grade school over there, and I lost it. I can't, what happened to it? What happened to it?
Did you go through Springboro grade school all 8 years?
No, went to 8 years of grade school, but I had to drop out in that high school. I got 2 years of high school.
Where did you start high school? In Springboro?
Springboro, yeah, okay, yeah. But I tell you what, when 1937 was a bad year. That's about the time I was in the second grade. And our house went down, burnt down.
Oh.
And that affected my mother. And after that, I never saw my mother but 2 or 3 times after that.
Oh, wow.
So, see, there's some problems in my life.
So what caused the house fire? Did they ever find out?
Well, not really, but I assume it's in the dark, about in the evening, about dark. I figured she lit a match and the curtain got it. I assume it's what my thing.
Oh.
I don't know, because I was in bed. I was just on second grade school.
How did everybody get? Did everybody get out of the
Oh,
house?
well, she got us all out of there. But my younger daughter, my younger sister wasn't born. She was pregnant with her at the time. I said,
Okay.
and born after that. So
All right.
my sister, young sister, and my younger brother never knew my mother. Actually, they never knew too well.
Wow.
And me and my sister knew her pretty well. Me and Nancy, enough to remember. Yeah.
So what did the family do after the house burned down? Where did you live?
We moved up to Minesburg with my granddad, with his dad, my granddad. Stayed there a couple of years, and my dad had to build a new one. He built a new one we moved back to Springboro then. Yeah.
And that was, Miamisburg was on the Miami Erie Canal, isn't it?
That's right. Just went down right here, back here across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did your grandfather do? What was his name, first of all?
Oh, my grandfather's name was Frank too. My dad was Frank G. My grandfather was Frank.
And you had a brother, Frank Lund.
Yeah, and a son, yeah, brother Franklin, yeah. And I don't know where she got that name, probably Franklin, Ohio, for all I know. Well,
What'd your granddad do? Was he a farmer? Or
he was a carpenter.
Carpenter?
Oh, he built a lot of houses in Miamisburg, yeah. Yeah, he's in the history book of Miamisburg, yeah, he's did a lot of carpenter work. That's sort of what my dad did too. He built houses. He built that one we moved into. He's built several houses around. As a matter of fact, he built 2 or 3 of them. It seems like things follow me around two or three of these houses they done tore down, and places where I worked are tearing them down.
Okay.
Time's catching up with you.
So after while you were living with your grandparents, your dad was building a house for you.
That's right. Yeah, and I went over there with him back to Springburg. I had to clean that mess up to the house, build a new house.
Right.
Yeah.
What was your grandmother's name?
Her, Jane. You mean my grandfather?
Your grandfather's wife.
Sally.
Sally?
Sally, yeah.
Okay.
Her name was Gruber family.
Gruver?
Yeah, that's what my dad's G stands for in the middle name.
Okay.
G for Gruber.
So what nationality was Gruber?
German.
German?
Excuse me, they come over here. Excuse me. They come over here from Germany, and they settled in Berks County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And from there they went to the Great Lakes, and from there to Miamisburg. That's the story I got.
Okay.
Yeah, well, some words they spoke in German. He said, I can't remember something they said. I tried to say it, but couldn't say it right.
But do you remember your grandparents talking in German?
Well, he has some slang word, just sayings. And
Yeah.
Not really. He's English, yeah.
Okay.
He spoke like me, but he talked like it. Now his dad, granddad, and my great granddad buried in Minesburg too. That's the
Okay.
one I'm talking about.
He's the one that came over from Germany?
Right. Yeah.
Now, what did he do when he came over here?
Well, that's a question I don't know.
Okay.
I assume he was a carpenter. I don't know. I never did get that down.
Did he come over here by himself, your great granddad, or did he come over with family?
Well,
Or do you know?
oh, that's a good story too. Said he come over here for a year, and he supposed to have served a year over there in Germany. I can't name of the town. It's not German no more. But anyway, you had to serve a year in the German army when you turned 18.
Okay.
Oh, he was a draft dodger. He went over here. He come over here. After he's here for a year, he sent for his German bride.
Okay.
That's the story I heard now.
All right.
Yeah, that's true, because they're buried up there in Minesburg Cemetery. I've been to the cemetery.
Oh,
And
good.
That's a pretty good story. Yeah.
Great-grandpa was a draft dodger.
Well, yeah, I could say that, yeah. Well, and now on the other side, on the Gruber side, now he back in them days, I don't know what war it was he's in, but it wasn't war, but people go in the army, they go in the army, and then they didn't like the army, they disappear, and they go back and sign in the army on a different name. Well, anyway, when the war was over back there, that's I don't know what war it was.
The First World War?
Well, no, it was before that one.
Okay.
Well,
Spanish-American War, maybe?
we'll say one of them back there. Now, my dad's brother was in World War I. My dad didn't get in the army. He wasn't. He got out of it somewhere. But anyway, he was a blacksmith in that army, and the war was over. He just left. He never had discharge.
All right.
Just walked off.
So you had an uncle that was in World War I?
Uncle Paul. He was in World War I.
It was his Paul Hart?
Paul Hart was his name, yeah.
He in the Army?
He was in the Army. He was engineer or something, I don't know, build bridges and stuff. Oh, he was over there. And I saw pictures of that mustard that they use, gas.
Oh, the mustard gas?
Yeah, they used to have mustard gas kill people over there. Oh, man, I saw some bad pictures of people that he had laying around, But the kids weren't supposed to look at that stuff,
Right. Well, was he over in France or Belgium or where?
I would say France. I would say that's a good get. Of course, that stuff's hard for me to remember.
Oh, that's
He's passed away, and I don't know. He never had any family. Just him and his wife.
Uh-huh.
His wife was an alcoholic too, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, shoot.
Anyway, all right.
Well, we've got you going to grade school in Springboro.
Okay.
And you got 2 years of high school
Right.
in Springboro.
Right. Okay.
And after 2 years, what did you do?
Well, I went to work for Dayton Power and Light.
Why did you drop out of school?
Okay, that's another question. I had to stay home, take care of my sister, Marguerite, more or less.
All right.
That she frowns on that, but that's the way it was. Though.
We-
I
we-
missed this at one year. I missed in the 6th grade. I missed taking that one test, and I missed the test. I had to spend 2 years in the 6th grade
Okay.
for that because I didn't get that one test. Well, as we went on along the line, things got pretty tough at home, and I had to take off. Had nobody take care of my sister, Marguerite.
How old were you when you went to work to help support?
Well, 18 when I went to work.
You were
I
18?
went to Dayton Barn Light. Well, I had other jobs besides that, but I went to work for Delco in 1948.
Delco Products?
Delco was downtown. Where Mendelssohn. They're tearing it down now.
That's in downtown Dayton.
Right.
What did you do for Delco?
I worked on the assembly line. We was making shocks for the 49 Chevrolet. Shock absorber. That's in 48.
How long did you do that?
Well, I was there about 6 months and they laid me off. So then I went down the street to Dayton Barn Light.
What did you do for Dayton
I
Barn
was
Light?
started out Dayton Barn Light. I started the lowest job they had, maintenance, vehicle maintenance. But then I got a truck driving job. It says there I'm a truck driver on that paper. I ended up starting to be a steam engineer. That's what I ended up being, a steam engineer.
Well, how long did you work for Dayton Barn Light?
38 years for Dayton Barn Light. 38 years, right up there. But they're tearing the place down now.
Of course, you had a little furlough from Dayton Barn Light. You
Oh, yeah,
entered the
well, I was in
military.
Dayton Barn Light. I spent 2 years in the Army.
Now, did you get drafted or did you enlist?
Well, he come after me. Drafted, sure, I got drafted. I tried to get out of it. I tell you what, I lived in Chautauqua, and we registered in Montgomery County. Well, not that I really wanted to Dodge, but my dad, meantime, is building another house over there. He sold the other place up there, and then he was building a place in Franklin, over in Springboro, rather. Well, I had a different address. I changed the address. They come across the county line to get me.
But actually, you were residing in Chautauqua at the time?
At the time I registered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Chautauqua is...
That's where I live in right now. That's the Chautauqua you're in right now.
Well, how would you describe that? That was a little community on the west side of the Miami River.
Right, it's on the Miami River. They say the word Chautauqua means a wide place in the river. I don't, that's what I hear. But anyway, yeah, it was a kind of a summer resort. It was. It was built on the river. And at one time they had a traction line come down along the river on the west side of the river.
Okay.
You might be noting, and it got washed out back in 13 flood.
Okay.
That's for my day.
Right.
Well, my dad.
But that's a well-known flood, the 1913 flood.
Well, my dad was born in 1899, and his folks had moved to Texas, and he wasn't around here at the time it happened.
Okay.
He was born here, but they moved. But his dad, like I said, he run a sawmill down there in Texas. I understood.
Okay.
And that's what I've understood. I don't know, but that's what hearsay, you know. But anyway, that's what it is. Yes, Chautauqua is a summer resort. Now, older houses in Chautauqua don't have a real good foundation. They's kind of built on stilts, like, you know, rocks instead of foundation.
It was kind of like a campground.
That's right. It was a campground. Now it's religious campground.
Right.
That's the reason they couldn't sell it. This guy come in here one day, put in country music and stuff like that. He had tried to buy it, but they couldn't sell it because it's rode up. Now they got a camp down there. Now they train kids from churches. They come here in the summertime, and they have a camp for the kids down there for churches. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've been living in Chautauqua. I got married in 1955 and lived Springboro for a while. Then I moved to Chautauqua. I've been here biggest part of my. Been married 66 years.
And your wife's name was what?
Mary Lou.
Mary Lou?
Rowe. R-O-W.
All right.
She
How did you meet Mary Lou?
Which, well, my sister was a senior in high school, and Mary Lou was a kindergarten teacher. So I said, I met her in kindergarten. Now, Springboro never had kindergarten when I went to school there. They didn't have kindergarten. But
Did your sister introduce you to Mary Lou?
Oh yeah, well, that's about right. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, we did. We 60-some years. Yeah, and she had a twin sister. I had to be careful around that.
Now, you were inducted April the 26th of 1951.
Right.
Now, where did you go when they drafted you? Where did you?
Well, first
go?
I went to Dayton,
All
The
right.
old steel high school up there. It's not there no more.
Right.
That's down, the monument used to be right by it there.
That's right downtown Dayton.
Right there across the river. That's First and Main.
Right.
That's where it was.
So-
Anyway, from there we went to Cincinnati.
How did you get to Cincinnati?
The bus.
Bus?
But down Cincinnati, that's another thing. I guess that's where I was inducted, more or less. I don't know. But anyway, the first time I rode a train, sleeper train. We rode the sleeper train from Cincinnati overnight. Oh boy, that's another thing. First time I ever had beans for breakfast was on that train.
Where did you go on the train?
At Fort Meade, Maryland. Fort Meade, Maryland.
Well, that was a good overnighter too, wasn't
Well, we stayed there. Well, we stayed there about a week, and then from there went to Fort Hood, Texas.
Well, to get to Fort Meade, you're on the train. Were you on a sleeper? Were you sleeping on a cot, or were you sleeping in a seat, or what were you sleeping
No,
in?
it was a regular sleeper, but a bed and all, but it,
Okay.
you know, it's back in.
And was it strictly a troop train, or was it a
No, it was not a troop train.
regular public train?
But we had troops on it.
Uh-huh.
We had troops. I didn't think it was a troop train. I didn't take it for that, no.
Did you have any buddies from Chautauqua
Well,
or
no,
Springboro that
no,
went with you?
there was two. They have the picture there. I don't think I got that picture. There was about 4 of us from Dayton, but I
Okay.
never knew them till I went into service.
All
Yeah.
right.
But didn't all of them go down to Texas. So I don't know where some of them went someplace else.
But you were over at Fort Meade for about a week.
About a week. Now.
What did you do there?
Well, we just we wasn't allowed to leave the base.
What'd you do? March and
Well, yeah, trained, yeah, did something like that, but there's nothing particular. You know, just breaking you in. That's
what were you when you were drafted and you went from Cincinnati to Fort Meade? Were you in any particular company or division or unit?
Not yet. I wasn't assigned anything yet.
Okay.
Still wasn't assigned. I never got signed up there. That's when they sent me down to Texas.
Went to Fort Hood in Texas.
Fort Hood, Texas. That's a tank and artillery.
All right.
That's what that is down there. And
Now, did you have a choice of where to go, or did they tell you at Fort
well,
Meade?
they went through, asked me questions what I did in civilian life.
Okay.
They wanted to know what I did. And I told them I power plant. They said, we don't have no power plants in the Army. She couldn't find a thing to put me in. Well, they took up a couple of things. I told them, yes, I delivered mail up here for a while. They run for pickup truck for Dayton Barn Light, delivered mail and stuff. But I tried the mail. They didn't want to stay there. First thing you know, they put me in, sent me in overseas in that radar operator.
All
That's the
right.
nearest thing I could find that I match up to.
Well, how long were you down at Fort Hood?
A year.
A year in Fort Hood.
About a year. I'm saying a year there and a year in Korea. That's about as close as they, you know, it might not be right to the exact date, but that's about what I say.
Well, how did you come to go to Korea? Did you volunteer, or did they say,
Well,
here's
let's
where
put
you're
it
going?
this way. When they come out and said, we need 5 people with this MOS, I've got this MOS number. They went 5 out of you 6. Okay. I said, put me on there. I'm going to Korea. So I went to Korea.
At that time, what was your rank?
I was just a UFC.
Okay, and were you in a unit at that time?
Well, not really.
Were you in a radar unit or a tank
No,
unit or
nothing to do.
anything?
I had nothing to do with radar, nothing down there. No.
So, how did you get? You're in Texas,
Okay.
and you volunteered to go to Korea.
Right.
Where did you go? Where did you go from Fort Hood? Did you go to California or Upper Washington?
Oh, Fort Hood. We went to. I had to report out to Camp Stoneman, California.
Where was that in California?
I can't tell you exactly what town that's close, but I will tell you what. What's the friend that's going over with me? He told me, he says, I'm going to work this out. I'm going to see this guy. We're going to get us a car. We're going to drive a car from here to California.
That was down in Texas.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
he was going home and he's shipping over with me. See?
Okay.
I said, well, yeah, what are you going to get? He said, I'm going to get us a Cadillac. I said, you're kidding me. Yeah, we'll get a Cadillac. I said, okay. So he was from from Cleveland, I guess, Toledo, Cleveland, I believe. So lo and behold, buddy, I called him. Here he come drive down my dad's house in a Cadillac, and we're delivering this Cadillac to California to this car dealer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God, you believe it or not. So, oh, Wayne, that was something else.
Now, were you in uniform or were you in civvies?
Well, I had army clothes. Yes, I guess I wore partial each. You know,
Okay.
We had a time with that Cadillac, man. I'll tell you what.
So you've got the Cadillac, and he comes from Cleveland, picks you up in Springboro.
And my dad said, take it over to the station details and fill it up with gas. I'll buy you gas. You want to get rid of me, I guess. But anyway, we took off with that Cadillac, and Betty, we drove all the way to, where was it, Kansas, I believe it was, before we stopped, where it was. Well, we finally had stopped. We pick up hitchhikers, and oh, we was having a ball. We picked this one kid up, and he was hitchhiking. We'd pick up people. We didn't care, you know. And this kid was going down. This guy, Bill was his name. Bill Sabatny was his name. That drove the car. He says he pushed it down. He's doing about 75, 80 mile an hour out through there. That Highway 66. And that kid got in there, and he's hanging over the back seat. He getting scared, you know.
Where was he going?
I don't know where he was going someplace. And finally he said, oh, that guy you passed. He said, I know him, so I want to ride with him. Let me out. I would get that kid. He's all nervous, buddy.
He was scared of Bill's driving, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, we picked up somebody there, and I think Bill was in the back seat sleeping, you know. And he growled a little bit, scared that guy to death, sitting up in the front seat with me.
Were you driving at the time then?
I drove part way, and he did. We got out there on the hill, on top of the mountain in Flagstaff, Arizona. Lo and behold, that thing quit. Right on the Sunday morning.
What did you do with that?
Well, it's Bill's responsibility. He told me he'd stay in the car, so he headed, excuse me, he went, got him a ride back town, got this mechanic come out there. Oh, he said that Cadillac's not set for high altitude. There's a carburetor, that's all it was. That's all it was.
Okay.
Yeah, we finally got it out to California. We finally got out there. Went through Kansas. I mean, that's a flat land nowhere, buddy.
Yeah.
This old man picked him up. He tells us all about everything out there. Well, we got out to this car dealer. And that car dealer, he checked that thing, thought we was going to rip something off. You know how they do it.
Yeah.
He didn't want nothing. Now, we wasn't interested in that. Just to get out there.
You just wanted to ride out to California?
All we had to do was pay for the gas
Yeah.
and pay our own way and get the car out there. Well, he got a good deal for that. But we didn't hurt the car any.
Well, did you, on the trip overnight, did you just sleep in the car? Or did you go?
No, we stopped at a motel.
Did you?
Well, one time, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
Albuquerque. We stopped a couple times. We stopped at a bus station, went in and cleaned up a little bit.
All right.
Shaved herself up a little, you know. Of course, Sam don't want the soldiers look too bad. Yeah.
I'm not quite as old as you are, but as I remember, the old motels, they were more like separate cabins.
Well,
Or was this a motel where the units were all together?
well, I don't believe it was separate cabins. I believe it was tied in together
Okay.
at that time.
All right.
Yeah, I remember them cabins like that, yeah. Yeah, we stayed once overnight. And then we got out there to this car dealer, like I said, he checked everything out. But then we still was 50 miles away from camp.
Okay. How'd you get to camp?
We had to go down and catch a train. We caught a train to get there.
All
Yeah,
right.
made it there on time.
So that was your second time on the train?
Yeah, this was a short ride on this.
Uh-huh.
This was a longer one here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So how long were you at the camp there in California
Well, I think,
before you shipped out?
I don't know, maybe not over a week, 3 or 4 days or something.
Okay.
They signed us over there then.
So did you go to Korea by plane or ship?
No, we went by boat. We went to Japan.
Went to Japan?
We went to Japan.
Did you stop in Honolulu or?
No, we didn't stop in Hawaii. No, we didn't stop there. I thought we would, but we didn't.
Do you know how many days or weeks it took you to get to Japan from California?
Well, I'm going to say 5 days.
5 days?
We crossed the international date line
Well, what kind of accommodations? Was this strictly a troop ship?
Oh, yes, and I tell you what, I think about it a little bit, it makes me a little nervous. I
Tell
cleared
me
down
about
at the bottom of that ship, you know what?
Okay.
If it went down, I ain't never gonna get to the top.
Okay.
I never thought about that. Now you think about some of these things you're just doing, buddy. You're just doing.
What kind of sleeping accommodations did you have on board?
Well, they was them hammocks that hang down the ship. That's what they were. Like,
How many were stacked on
well,
top?
about 4 or 5 there.
And which one were you on?
I was on the top sides.
That was the best side to be on, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't know which one. I'm going you would think about it. Yeah. Well, then we got out in Japan.
Well, let me ask you about the food. How was the food on board ship?
Well, that's another thing. I'm telling you what. We shipped out underneath the what is it?
Golden Gate Bridge?
Yep, we went under the bridge, and before I got out of there, I was sicker than a dog. I mean to tell you what, they say that's the roughest water going.
Really?
It's what they tell me underneath there, yeah.
So you had a little seasickness.
Oh yes, boy, I did.
Now, when you got sick, were you up topside or were you down below?
I was down there with getting a chow line.
Oh, gee.
Man, I lost that meal. They got away from there, then I got okay.
Okay.
But you know what? Come back, shipped up back, boat come back, I didn't get a bit sick. I was wanted to come home.
You're a little nervous going
Well, it
out.
could have been both things, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
What are we getting into, you know what I mean?
But the rest of the trip, after you had gotten sick coming out of California, was the food good on board ship?
Well, yes, it was good, but sometimes you get some of them waves and
Right.
your table here, your food on would be down here instead of up there.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty good, yeah.
What did you do on board? Did you have any duties on board? Did you
Well,
Did you
not-
have to do exercises or what?
Well, we did exercise and things like that. Took us to the top side all the time. Once you get up there, you move us around. But we didn't have nothing like marching or nothing like that.
Do you have any idea how many troops were on board when you went over to
Oh
Japan?
boy, that's a good question. I couldn't answer that.
Are we talking about hundreds or thousands?
Well, the whole ship was full of people. Now I don't know how many that would be. I never even thought about it like that.
Was it all Army?
Excuse me. No, I think they had some Marines in there.
Okay.
Yeah, the Marines. I was using the Marines.
No. No.
They called them glory lovers. I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I had nothing against anybody, though. You know what I mean? That's okay.
Well, when you got to Japan, where did you stop in Japan?
I can't name it in that base now. Tell you what.
Was it near Tokyo or?
Yeah, we're close to there.
Uh-huh. How long did you stay there?
Oh, a couple of days, and then they shipped us to Busan.
All right. That's at the southern tip of
That's very
Korea.
the bottom part of, very part of Korea. Yeah, and I rode that troop train up to there.
Well, how long were you in Busan before you boarded the train?
Oh, I don't know.
Hours, days, or weeks?
Hours, I say hours.
Hours?
It wasn't long. It wasn't like days, no, because we didn't have no sleeping convenience places there. Yeah,
Okay.
we went right up. It took all day or so. That train was a slow moving train up to there. Only one track from Busan to Seoul. And Seoul's the capital of
Yeah.
Korea. And from Seoul, he met us out there. This guy met us out there in the Jeep and took us out. Just a couple of us out there to where our outfit was at.
Well, tell me about your train trip from Busan up to Seoul. Tell me about anything you saw or
Well,
experienced.
now that's the first thing you see about bad war. That's where, from Busan to Seoul, oh man, you see everything. I mean, there was train cars, locomotives and everything dumped off that track where it had been bombed out of there, and power plants that knocked out. You know, I recognize what they were, houses. There was nothing back there. There's just one track up, and they go up, and then they come back, and they go back forth. That's the first time I really see a bunch of war stuff, really.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was getting into.
Did you go through any towns that had been destroyed?
Well, I think so, but I can't tell you what they were. It's a long time ago.
But some of the towns you went through, there was a lot of destruction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the kids would come by, we go by there in this train, and we throw candy and chewing gum out. Boy, them kids come by, we had to be careful. They run over and the train get them. They told us to be
Okay.
careful not to do that.
Okay.
They come out there and meet you. Boy, the people in them towns are glad to see you. Yeah, we had one old guy there. They told us, now you got to watch these people. When we stop in Seoul, or that's the one town or where it was that we stopped, or maybe it's Busan. They said these people will come and get on the train, and they don't belong on there. They said,
Yeah.
don't mess up with them. You
Yeah.
might be messing with the wrong people. You don't do that. Yeah.
Didn't know whether they were really friendly or foes.
That's right. You don't know who they are. You don't know what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was something else. I tell you, for a young guy, that's different, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, I never saw nothing like that in my life, you know. I was
Well,
just young.
I have vague recollection of the Korean War, and at one point in time, the North Koreans and the Communists had the Allies trapped down there in Busan.
Okay.
Now, were you there after that?
Well, that's after that. That's,
Okay.
The war had already been on when I was over there.
Yeah,
It's probably, well, it wasn't over till I got back.
right.
Really over with.
So you get up. They took you up to Seoul,
And
and
then,
then where did you go from Seoul?
well, they went out to the headquarters where where his camp was at. Well, I can't tell you the exact name of that town because I didn't write it down. But he come got us in a Jeep, and we took in at nighttime. We went into this headquarters where I was going to be at night. And I dove over and get there. They said, we got a ground alert. A ground alert. Now, here I am in a foreign country, doesn't know north from south, east from west, and what am I going to do?
So
It's
what does a ground alert mean in the
that means that the
military?
enemy troops are coming in. Somebody's coming in now.
Okay.
You see, scared the tar out of a young guy like me.
Well, did you have any?
Without that, and see, they only give me, I trained with a carbine. They give me an M1. When I never fired an M1, give me 4 rounds with an M1. I never
4
fired.
rounds to defend yourself?
Yeah, that's all I had. So, man, I get nervous. You know what I mean? So I know what's going on. Well, I told this captain, I always say, get you one of these guys and they'll take you with you. Stay with him. That's all you can do, just stay with him. He says, go out there with that machine gun. I said, I ain't never fired a 50 caliber machine gun. I never did either. But no. Oh, man.
And that was the first night you were at
Oh,
base
first night I
camp?
went on the front lines, buddy.
man.
Scared the tar out of a man like me, you know what I mean?
Well, did you actually have any
No.
combat with the enemy that night?
Didn't have one. They
Just an alert.
they had alert. They figured somebody's moving in. I don't know, but didn't have it. I was looking for, well, man, I'm into some trouble here, but they never had it again.
Well, did you stay at the same base all the time you were in Korea?
Well, no, this was a radar outfit. They had, this is First Forward Observation Battalion, what it's called. Now, they was 2 or 3 ways what we did, we detected the enemy mortar shells coming in with radar.
Okay.
With radar, you'd plot them. You'd see, it's just like, say, you see a flash over here, you have 2 people over here, and they plot it out, see?
Okay.
What the radar do.
Yeah.
We'd pick it up on the scope over there, and then plot it for them and call it back.
Call it back so they could shell the...
Well, the trouble was, that we did the same thing. We had shot mortar shells too. They'd stay here, they'd go up there in this one area, they'd stay there maybe 20 minutes or a half hour, fire shells, they going. They ain't gonna stay around, let them come back and get
Right.
you. They're moving.
So, at your radar station, did you have any incoming shells, mortars, or artillery?
Oh yeah, yeah, we had that too.
What kind of a...
Well, we dug in. If you had one picture there, you see that I'm holding that gun. And you might be able to see part of a bunker back here built in.
Let's let her see if she
There's a
can...
bunker. We had a bunker built in around it there.
Let's see if she can get this...
And
I kind of
radar
see
was
it.
camouflage too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I was.
Can I move it any differently?
No, black and white doesn't show real
Okay.
well. Okay?
Anyway.
So behind you is a bunker,
Yeah.
and that's sandbags?
Sandbags, right? Well, that's another story.
Well, tell me.
Some of the bunkers we built out of timbers.
Okay.
So we had timbers. Now that's another thing. After I was there a while, they sent us out one day to get some timbers. But now there's no timbers in Korea. There's no trees over there. Well, we went around. The first thing you know, we found one. We found a sawmill. We had this deuce and a half.
No, that's a truck, 2.5 ton truck.
There was about half a dozen of us in the truck. So it was on a Sunday. We went in there, and there wasn't nobody home. Well, we had the truck full. We come out.
You took all the timber out of the sawmill?
We took what we could get on that truck, and you know, that's like this guy told us over there. Said anything that's got U.S. on, that's us. That belongs to us. Well, anyway.
So was it an Allied sawmill? It wasn't a Korean sawmill?
It was a South Korean sawmill.
It was?
Oh, yeah. So, boy, we took that back, and boy, our commanding officer, when he thought that was great. Man, we needed him. He said, now that was Sunday. There's nobody working on Sunday.
Yeah.
So Monday he sent us back. Well,
Sent it back to the sawmill?
he said, I want you to get another load tomorrow. Well, that didn't work. That didn't work. They wasn't going to give it to us. They wasn't supposed to have it the day before.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well. We got our
So when you went back to the sawmill, was it being operated by Koreans?
Oh, yeah. South Koreans. And
Did anybody in your group that went back, did any of them speak Korean?
no, they didn't. So, well, we didn't do any good. They spoke a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Well, then, you know what we did? On the way back, we decided we wanted to go swimming. So we went swimming in the yellow, what's called the Yellow River, wherever that
Oh, the Yalu River?
Yeah, we went swimming in there. At least I say that anyway. Yeah, coming back, yeah. Well, we didn't do any good that time.
Uh-huh.
But we got a pretty good score for the first load.
So what did the camp do with the load of lumber that you
Well,
got?
they built another bunkers. We built them in the side of the hill and put sandbags around them.
Okay.
But you see, it's you know, like building it up. If it's covered, a direct hit won't get you. A
Uh-huh.
direct hit will go right through it.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you the story though. I was in this bunker one day there, and they was shelling this outfit new next door to us, and man, whiz, one of them shells shrapnel went right by me, buddy. It landed right there, about this far over. I reached over and picked it up, burnt my hand. That's how close I come to getting hit with that piece of shrapnel. And that's how close. I brought that home with me, but I can't find out where I done with it. I've been showed it off. It's about the size of your finger, and man, it was hot. It was burnt my hand.
Was that part of the shell casing, or what was
The
it?
shell that blowed up. Yeah.
Man.
That's how close I was to getting it that day, buddy. That's how close. That's probably the closest call I really had. I've had a couple others too. Man.
Well, tell me about some of your other close calls.
Well, I tell you. Well, I had a bad one.
Well, tell me about it.
One evening out there, I decided I wanted to take a shower. So we had a 50-gallon drum out there with water in it, you know, and you go out there and turn it on and take a shower. It wouldn't be hot water, it'd be
Cold water.
Oh yeah, well, you know, at least you can get washed up.
Yeah.
There I was out there naked as a jaybird. Wham! Here come one of them artillery shells right over the top of me. It landed about half far from here to the river, and this guy was filling gas up in the deuce and a half, and it about got him. If it would have blown up, it would have got him, but it didn't go off.
It was a dud, huh?
Well, it was artillery shells, what it was.
But it was a dud. It didn't explode.
That's right. Well, we could see a spotter plane. We had a spotter plane up there, and they shoot at it. You see the flak flying around it, trying to knock him out. And that was one of them come in there. It went right over the top of where I was. It's a jaybird.
But the guy trying to fill the gas tank was luckier than you, though.
Oh yeah, but he spun him up, but it didn't hurt him. His
Good.
name was Barkley or something like that.
Uh-huh.
He was sergeant. He was a sergeant. Yeah.
So by that time, what's your rank over in Korea?
I was still
PFC?
I was still private.
Okay.
I didn't make corporal till about half the time over there, and then I did make corporal. And lo and behold, it wasn't 2 weeks, they took it away from me. Took it away from me.
What? Did you do something bad?
No, they said they made a mistake. They didn't have enough money or something to give it to me. Well, about a month later, they give it back to me. I wasn't over there trying to, I was over there because they put me there. You know, I wasn't after rank, you know what, I cared. You know,
So,
I wasn't into it. I drafted in, I was making $72 a month. and I went in the Army. That's a good deal.
So you were born in 1930 in September,
Right?
and when were you over in Korea? When did you land over in
Well,
Busan?
52 and 52.
52.
And 52.
So were you 22 at the time,
well,
or
I guess-
21?
Well, I wasn't old enough, but I worked at the power plant. Couldn't get an engineer's license because you couldn't get it because he's 21.
Yeah.
So I went in the Army about when I was 20, and I'd probably be about 22 then. That's a good guess.
Yeah.
It's hard. I can't.
So, as a 22-year-old, how many other guys about your age were in your unit or squad?
Well, there's most of them all the same age.
Were they?
We had, one sergeant, now he's a little older. We had a Sergeant Gino. He's a black guy. He was okay. I liked old Sergeant Gino.
Where was he from?
He's from Texas, I believe.
Okay.
I believe that's where he's from. But a lot of these guys, that's from any place in the United States. New York, everywhere, Mississippi, or like that.
What were you actually doing? What was your specific duty for Tom Hart over there at the,
Well, I was
at the radar station? What did you
radar.
do?
I work on the plotter, plotting them out, and I was worked on the we had a portable generator mounted on the back of a deuce and a half.
Okay.
So it must have been about a 3-ton job.
And did you help to maintain that?
I maintained that, and there's another thing that happened. That's another thing. This Sergeant Binkley, we was going back to headquarters to get it serviced, and he was driving. We pulled up to this gate, big wire gate, a heavy gate to move. So I got out to move it, and I couldn't move it. It's too big, so that took both of us. We weren't supposed to come in that gate anyway. But anyway, he come out to move it. Well, he never set the brake on that truck. And lo and behold, right next to the sign says minefield. Oh boy. And that truck went right down that dang minefield, and oh man, I was shaking, Oh, it scared the tar out of me. That's
I'll
another-
bet.
It was gonna blow me up, I'm done. Well, Sarge jumps up, runs down there and gets it. He goes down there and gets it, backs it right up where it went down. It didn't go off going down, so it goes, oh man.
So if he stayed in the right path going backwards, he was safe.
Well, it didn't a thing happen. So now he probably was lucky. And that's another lucky chance I had, but I'll
Absolutely.
tell you what, I've had a couple of them over there.
Well, this sign says minefield. Didn't they have any minesweepers that would
Well,
detect the mines?
well, they probably had it around the headquarters to keep other people out of there.
Oh.
The church,
Okay, just
I don't know. It certainly had minesweepers, but they may have put it there for a reason.
okay.
I don't know.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Just-
Now, while you were there at that at the advanced radar station, did you have any enemy infiltrations into your station?
Not really, no. I didn't see no enemy in there.
What kind of protection did you have on the perimeter of your station?
Well, no, all we had was infantry around us.
Okay.
Infantry. I never seen where they were. Now, the enemy was not very far from there.
Did you have barbed wire or any kind of?
Nothing around us. No, we moved in there. All we had was camouflage, built in the like the bunker, and in some places they had places in the ground.
Well, how big was this location? How many bunkers did you have there? And how many?
Well, we had about we're a radar operator. We had about 8 people. About 8 people.
Okay.
It was all in our outfit. Was out there on the radar. About 8 of us.
And how many people in a bunker?
Well, we had a bunker, but we'd all go to this big bunker. We had a big bunker.
Okay.
That big one, we'd all go in there, yeah.
So did you sleep there?
We stayed there, but, well, we had a tent too.
Okay.
And we ate outside. Now, they'd bring our food to us in thermos bottles. Or when a guy come from headquarters out there when he can and bring his food. We had on some sea rations, but then they'd bring it out to us and feed us. But on holidays, boy, we ate pretty good on holidays.
Well, now, I've interviewed fellows from Vietnam War, and some of these guys have told me that they were out in the jungle there eating sea rations from the Second World War.
I believe it. I do believe it. I do.
And were you eating sea rations from World War II?
I would say it's possible. I don't remember. That's okay. That ring. If they want me, they're going to answer. They'll answer.
All right.
We'll see.
Uh,
Wait a minute. It'll take you a minute. I guess I should have started.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep.
Let's see
We will
what they,
return your call.
they don't want me.
okay, was your radar station at the same location all the time, or did you
Oh, no,
move?
we moved around
Thank
there.
you for your call.
We moved it sometimes. Yeah,
How long would you stay in one location?
well, we'd probably stay,
typically?
about 3 or 4 times we moved while I was there.
Okay.
We may move from one area to another. After a while, they'd move out, so they couldn't find our location. You know, never know.
So your radar station is right up on the front lines.
It's right behind the infantry.
Now, did you have any time off?
Well, yes, I got a leave or R&R.
And how long were you in Korea before you got R&R leave?
Well, I'd say, well, now some guys turned it down, and they went back sooner. They got rotated back to the States sooner. I took it. I wanted to go. But that was a good thing. I liked that in a way. But I tell you what, went back to Tokyo. I went down, was riding this bus. They said, I'm going to show you where Hiroshima, where they dropped that bomb.
Right.
Oh, I want to see that. He said, nothing will never grow there. Nothing will never grow there. So we go down the street, just bare as could be. Just nothing growing.
Uh-huh.
Never grow there, yeah. And
So how long were you in Tokyo area?
well, I think we had a 3-day pass.
3 days.
Oh, we flew over there in a big plane, the C-124 Globemaster, one of the biggest airplanes they had at that time.
That was a military
A
plane.
military plane, yeah. We flew from Korea there. See, Seoul, Korea was one of the largest airports around for a while.
Right. So you flew from Seoul over to Tokyo.
Right. And
Now, what did Tokyo look like? Had that been rebuilt?
well, now Tokyo was at that time. There was more bicycles and scooters over there than automobiles.
Okay.
Well, we would go down the street, and this deuce and a half we was riding in to get there, you know, and boy, them little old alleys, that big old truck would hardly go through them little alleys, just little narrow streets, you know,
Uh-huh.
and the bicycles and everything, and they don't, they blow their horns and you're supposed to run, but heck with it, you know, and bicycles, if people would break down on the street, their bicycles, they fix them right out there on the street. Oh yeah, that's another thing, buddy. Talk about sewer system. They had them built up right out in the street, buddy.
Oh, really?
They had flies around people. You know what they?
Yep.
You know, you couldn't see in them, but
Yeah.
they had them. That's terrible. I'm telling you what. I'm telling you another thing. Korea and Japan, they told us not to eat that. You go downtown and all that fruits and vegetables. They said they may look good, but don't eat them.
Okay.
Make you sick.
So when you were in Korea and Japan, you just ate military.
Right. You're better off staying there. Yeah.
So did you interact with any of the Japanese during that 3-day R&R?
Oh yeah, I talked with them. Oh yeah.
How did they treat you?
Well, they didn't treat us bad. I was always with a buddy. You know, it's always double.
Yeah.
You know, we never walked down the street by myself.
Yeah.
But we got lost over there one time. Oh man, they had them, what do you call them, traction lines or whatever they are, buses or streetcars,
Yeah.
not streetcars, but bus.
Electric?
Yeah, well,
Uh-huh.
well, it's electric. I don't know. These trains, let's say. We got on there and we got lost.
Didn't know where you were going because all the signs were in
We had to
Japanese.
get back to where we had to ship back, you know. But we found our way. They told us them Japanese people speak pretty good English now.
Okay.
Yeah, we got back and they had no problem with it. But
But you didn't, when you were there in Japan, you didn't come across any people that were really had animosity towards us because of the atom bomb?
well, no, it didn't talk about that.
Okay.
Didn't say anything like that.
But they didn't treat you
No, they didn't treat me
poorly.
where we were. They didn't treat us bad like that.
good.
They treated us bad like that. No.
So after your R&R, you fly back to Seoul?
Well, then that's another thing. I got back to Seoul. Well, we got back in the back of that deuce and a half, going down them dusty roads. First thing you know, I had dust in my eyes. And I ended up a week in a hospital in Yongdong-po. With I couldn't see. He's riding in the back of that deuce and a half. It sucked the dust in the back
Yeah.
of that thing, and man, it blinded me. So I spent a week in there. We played bingo and a little bit of everything in there when I got straightened out.
Now, what was the name of the town?
Yongdong-po.
How far was that from Seoul?
Well, it was right close to
Right
Seoul.
close?
Right close to Seoul.
Now, this deuce and a half, was that a covered truck?
Oh yeah, it had the canopy on the back.
Uh-huh.
It was a canopy, but the back was open. You
Yeah.
know, it's a canopy. You've seen them. The back end didn't have nothing back there.
You
And
just sucked the dust right in.
I sat in the back, and boy, I was in bad shape. I had to go to headquarters, and when I got back here and tell them I couldn't see. They sent me to this hospital, and this guy got me a warm bottle of hot water and a towel and compress and put on my eyes. I kept going back steam, and I got okay.
Uh-huh.
So I had talked to this one guy there. He says, my outfit's, he's a sergeant, my outfit's right next to yours, I'll take you back there, come get me. Well, that didn't work out. I didn't like things he was doing. He didn't show me my respect. I didn't like him. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I don't know what you mean. What did he do or not do?
Well,
Well, tell it like it is.
yeah, well, I will, okay. He said, you see that piano player? Said something wrong with him. He's a little bit touched. He's queer. Well, I ain't that way, you know. Well, lo and behold, I stepped outside and there he was with that guy. And that's turned my guts right there. I can't stand that.
Uh-huh.
I know you couldn't either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All kinds of people in the Army. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you. So I went back to headquarters and told him I'd take the regular ride back. I ride with him. You don't do me no good.
That's
huh?
right.
What do you say, buddy? What would you do? Would you do the same thing? I wouldn't have put up people.
What was your commander's name there at the radar base?
We had a couple different ones, but I can't think of their names. Now you're getting me too deep. I don't remember. We had one guy who was a warrant officer, was in charge of it. Of
Okay.
these guys, and we had a first sergeant, and then we had another lieutenant. But we didn't have a captain out there. It was all lower officers.
Now the black fellow you said,
Gino,
what was his rank?
he's sergeant.
Sergeant.
Yeah, Sergeant Gino.
And you got along real well with him.
Oh yeah, we got along.
The rest of the guys get along well
Oh
with
yeah,
him.
no problem with him over there. You know, if you die, people talk different to him, but I don't. Hey, to me, they eat the same table with me. They're just human as I am. I ain't gonna fight them. Let me. Okay.
Now, on your DD-214, it says a component and branch or class, and it says ERC artillery.
I don't know what that means.
ERC artillery.
Well, I don't know what that means. I was in artillery. That's what I was in down there in Texas. Artillery and tanks. And I never had no training on artillery.
And you were in the Second Army?
Second Army, yeah, in Korea. Yeah.
And as far as medals, you got KSM. Was that
I got
Korean
two,
service?
I got a Korean medal, and then I got another for being Korean for two different ones. One's a blue one, it was on my hat, and then the other's a striped one. On my license tag, you got that one on there that tells you served in Korea during war zone.
All
And
right.
my brother never got that. He didn't like that. He's only over there about a month when this going on.
Now, under the most significant duty assignment, it says Battery A, 1st FA.
First Observation Battalion.
Okay.
That's what outfit I was in.
And then there's a letter B
I don't know what that stands for.
and APO 301.
Well, that's my address over there. But if they wrote letter to me, they'd put down their First Observation Battalion, AP.
APO 301.
That's the Army. That's a mailing address.
So how often did you correspond with home?
Well, it takes a while to get it back, of course. you know.
Sure.
I sent home from my dad. I said, I want you to send me some light bulbs. We'd wire off of that generator into our bunker. Night we'd have electric when the generator was running. When we was running the radar. Now we couldn't just run it for us. That's what we do. And we did a few other things too. We write to these companies that had soup and stuff. We tell them we live in Korea, we need some of this and that. They'd mail it to you.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
What's like Campbell soup or
Yeah,
something?
like that. We did that to a couple of them, and first thing you know, here they come. And here's another thing: we we get candy in the mail. We get candy, and we got a beer ration, and you can get a whiskey ration if you want it. You know, when I was over here at Texas down here, this first sergeant was in there. They was having a Foot Locker inspection. You know, and I said, well, it's illegal to have whiskey. You shouldn't have it in there. The captain come out and checked him out. He had whiskey in his Foot Locker and never said a word. I figured, well, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, he knows what he's doing. I
Yeah.
don't. But we get a whiskey ration over there and a beer ration too. Yeah.
Did you drink beer?
Oh, yeah.
What brand did you have over there?
Well, I don't know. Probably Blue Ribbon. Who knows? I don't know. A different brand.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what they do. Them Koreans over there, they get the beer would be in the can. They take a screwdriver and poke a hole through the top of it and stick a straw down in there
Okay.
and drink that warm beer. You know. Now, we didn't have no refrigeration to keep that beer cold. We dig it in the ground, buried in the ground.
To try to get it cold
You know,
in the
get it
ground.
cold, yeah, it tastes pretty good over there. I got a picture of a buddy of mine, one of them drinking a beer. I don't know, or drinking, or maybe it's me. I don't know. Might be one in there. I don't know.
I don't see it.
That might be a Pepsi too. I don't know. I didn't see it there anyway.
What was the weather generally up there by the 38th
Oh,
parallel?
that 38. That's another thing. They give us what they call Mickey Mouse boots. They call Mickey Mouse boots. You put them boots on and a pair of socks in them things, you've been beyond 30 minutes, you take them socks out and wring the sweat out of your socks.
Oh, really?
But your feet would never get cold. You'd wear them all day long and your feet would never get cold. That's the big thing about it. I like to have a pair of them for hunting, you know.
Well, how about the rest of your outfit?
Well, we got insulated stuff for that too,
Okay.
yeah. But the weather over there was similar to his here, to me.
So you had winters and summers.
It's bad summers and bad winters, yeah. Yeah.
So did you have to wear those boots year round? Or were you wearing those
no,
during the warm weather?
No, you don't wear them in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they was good. But it got cold over there. It got cold over there, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But see, we were going into town one night. We had fuel oil in the bunker. We had a stove in there, fuel oil.
Okay.
We usually get 50 gallons of fuel oil, and we'd wire it into the stove in there,
Mhm.
keep warm. Well, me and this Vaughn Sanders, he was a volunteer for the Army. He's RA. Anyway, me and him was going into town one time to get these drums of oil. So it's getting dark out there, and he made a mistake. Turned his lights on, had his lights on, and that deuce and a half. Going down the road, buddy, and whoop, what's that out there in the road? What is that spot at? Well, they're shooting at us. It's mortar shells at us. They were
Yeah.
watching us, and they dropping them in all 3-4 blocks of the road there.
Yeah.
Well, it scared me too. Well,
But did he wise up and turn the lights off?
he turned them off, and then he went around the corner and shifted up in second gear, and them drums rolled against the tailgate and fell out.
And they were full?
Oh yeah. So we went back to our camp here, and this officer said, "No, get you 2 or 3 more guys, and you go back and put them on that truck and bring them back. If you don't, somebody else will get them.
Yeah.
They'll steal them." We went back; he's still there. We rolled them up, had no trouble.
Yeah, a 50-gallon drum, pretty daggone heavy.
We had to roll them up in there.
Uh-huh.
We roll them in a plank up in there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty heavy, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it, yeah.
Well, did you get into town at all, other than assigned duties?
No, not really. But I have been through there, And I saw them nice looking vegetables sitting out there too. I know what they's talking about.
You were tempted, but didn't.
Well, you don't touch them,
Yeah.
he said.
Well, how about,
They're elevated with human manure.
did you have any interplay with any South Korean military?
No, not really. We see them marching down the road though. They march when they change their duty at their time.
Okay.
We see them. No, we didn't. When I was in that hospital though, they had some North Koreans in there.
North Koreans.
Yeah, well, they captured them. They were in that hospital. And,
Were they injured?
Yeah, they injured, but hey, I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like what I see going on. Americans go over and spit on them. I didn't like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
I didn't like that. I mean, no, they're not our friends, but you don't do that.
They were just doing the job they were told to do.
That's just like I was doing too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want nobody to do that to me if I was a prisoner. You know what I mean?
Well, were you on duty? Did you ever have to file your M1?
No, I never did fire it directly, didn't I?
Okay.
Never did. Got to carry that M1. Yeah, I liked carbine better than M1 though. I took my firing down there in Texas.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, first shot I took the shoot was a Maggie's drawers. That's mean you missed a whole target. I can't believe it. The next 3 shots was bullseyes. I think the target marking guy was marking wrong. But I don't know. It don't make no difference.
Yeah,
You know, no
yeah.
difference. I didn't get nothing out of that. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about correspondence, and it took a long time. Did your dad send you light bulbs?
Oh yeah. I don't know whether they'd make it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they was over there. Probably took a week. I
Yeah.
don't know. It takes a while. Your mail. We have mail call about every day or so. But I tell you what. Well, I took mail call for a while down there in Texas, and some of them names would come out, and you couldn't even pronounce them. You know, Italian names.
Yeah.
I figured all Italians either with an I or a U.
I know.
Well, this guy say, they would call one name, Mr. Alphabet, Joe Alphabet. That's me. Didn't know he couldn't pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of different names over there. Yeah. As you see.
Well, did you develop some close friends over there in the radar unit?
Oh yeah, I still got some of them. I was going through I got a box down in my old suitcase down there, and I found some names in there. I remember seeing over there. I found some pictures and things. Yeah, I had a camera over there. Took pictures. Yeah, that wasn't pictures. That was a camera I took. Yeah.
So, how did you learn that you were going to be coming back to the States?
Well, I don't know. Just that's right.
Who told you?
Well, they come around and told us. They tell an officer come around and tell us, first sergeant come around and tell you, your time you'll be shipping back so and so.
Was that based on the time you were over in Korea, or
They give
points,
you
or what?
so much time. We see, I was drafted for 21 months. I was in for 3 days. They said, now you're in for 2 years. So my time went up right there.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's okay. I figured that 2 years they're going to get me out. Well, I got out a little shy of 2 years.
Okay.
That shy, that took them out and told me. Yeah. But then they said, now when you went on R&R, rest and recuperation, Japan, if you didn't take that, you got to go back sooner. Well, heck, I wanted to take it. I wanted to go to Japan.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. I got to see something different. Yeah.
So had you been over there for about 6 months before you went over to Japan, or how long had you been?
I would say probably about halfway through.
Okay.
I don't remember exact date what that was. You know, now you think about it, I should have wrote it all down. You know what I mean?
Well, where did you come back to the States from? Did you fly out of Seoul, or did you
No,
fly out of Busan?
No, we come back on a slow boat again. Slow boat, landed.
And where did you ship out from? Busan?
Yep, Busan, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I flew back, no.
Okay, so you shipped out from Busan on a ship.
Yeah.
Was that a military ship?
That must have been, yeah. I say it was. We landed in California again, and we got south of California. We're going to fly. We're going to fly Michigan's where he got out and discharged. So we got ready to get on this. Now here's the thing. Everything kept following me all the way home. The boat caught on fire, had a fire in the boat. We went to get on this airplane, and it had a bad motor in it. They had to put us up for a couple of days out there in California. The whole troop, bunch of people. They put us up. So that's pretty good.
Well,
We stopped there.
what caused the fire on board ship?
I don't know, but that's just hearsay. I don't know. I thought it was a boiler room, but, and I didn't get it. I wanted to go down there and see the boiler room because I worked at the power plant, but I didn't get it. They kept telling me up at the power plant, you want to get in the Navy. Well, so when I got drafted, I go back to that again. When I got drafted, I got my paperwork. I went to Dayton, tried to get in the Navy. He says, have you got your papers, sir? Well, I said, yes. He said, get out of here. We don't want you in the Navy. So I never got in the Navy. Well, when I got sick out there under the Golden Gate, I was glad I wasn't in the Navy.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, where was that before?
So on the way from California over to Japan to go on to Korea, you were down below deck. You were on the
Oh, he's in that big ship, buddy.
yeah.
I'm telling you what.
Now coming back,
That's
what
another
kind of ship were you on?
same type of ship.
And were you down below deck on another
Well,
hammock?
yeah, I was down below deck. But coming back, we played bingo. We'd play bingo to kill time,
Uh-huh.
So, oh boy, this one game we used to play in there, this is the grand prize. It's going to be a nice wristwatch. I forget what it was, Zodiac or something.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy, I bingoed. Little old black guy there, he bingoed too. So we had to.
They only had one watch and two bingos.
Well, that next prize was a little old knife. Well, we both bingoed, so we had to draw. I drawed a 72, and he drawed a 70, and he drawed a 72. He got the watch, and I got the knife. That's the way it goes. That's okay. I mean, that's
So on the ship on the way back, were you sleeping in hammocks again, or did you have?
yeah, with bunks, like you said, stacked up in the ship there.
Were
Yeah,
you on the top again?
yeah, more or less. Yeah, I guess I can't remember exactly where I was.
Did you get any seasickness on the way back?
No, I come right back and never got sick at all.
Good.
I was getting ready to go home. Well,
So where did you land in California?
Camp Stoneman.
Where is that?
Well, I can't tell you the name of town. See,
San Diego, San Francisco,
San
LA?
Francisco, I guess. I don't know. Someplace out there. San Francisco,
Okay,
where the Golden Gate is.
So-
Oh, yeah, I went down to Chinatown and everything while I was out there.
okay.
When we was laid up out there, I went through Chinatown, all that. Rode a cable car. Did that. I mean, I took in
Had a
everything.
good time.
Oh, yeah, took it all I could there. Yeah, boy.
Now,
But we got ready to go there. That plane had bad engine. And so here we go back. We landed in Flagstaff,
Arizona.
not Flagstaff, it was Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Landed that plane, it blowed out a rear tire. And it just like your car with a flat tire,
Yeah.
shake like
Yeah,
that. There we still late again. Well, see, it's following me home.
it sure was.
So I go up to Michigan. I forget what that place is called now. Battle Creek, Michigan, I guess what. I get on a bus up there to ride from the bus back to Dayton.
Now, you don't have bus trouble.
Run out of gas. The whole world is following me all the way home, man. All these bad things. Oh, man.
Well, tell me about your wife. Were you?
I wasn't married then.
Well, but had you met her before you went to Korea?
No, I didn't meet her till I had to come back.
Okay.
I went with 2 or 3 other women. I had one I was almost getting married with. And I had to pick this one, the best one, which I did.
Well, did you have a girlfriend you corresponded with when you were in Korea?
I had one girl I went with her in Franklin. When I went overseas, I said, no, I'll be back. I'm coming back. And I did come back.
Uh-huh.
See,
But did you correspond with her while you were
yeah,
there?
correspond with her. Well, she wanted to get married, wanted to get back. I don't know whether I told you that or not.
No.
Well, so I got home and we decided we wasn't going to get married. Her dad says, well, I bought me a new refrigerator and something else with the money. Then I put back for your bad money. Now, well, after you see the world and different things, your mind changes, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. So I got a little bit choosy, you say. I don't know. But I think I done good.
So from Michigan, you come back to Springboro, Dayton area?
Dayton area.
Uh-huh.
I got Dayton. Well, I didn't tell my dad, didn't tell him I was coming home.
Ah,
So I got up there and and I put my stuff in a bus station and got back to Springboro, and I didn't tell him I was coming home. And he knew I was about ready.
uh-huh.
Okay, well, that was okay. Surprised him, you know.
Was he home when you got home?
Yeah, he was there, yeah.
How about your mom? Was she there?
That was my stepmother.
Stepmother?
Stepmother,
Okay.
yeah, they were there, yeah. They treated me good, yeah.
I'll bet. Were
Those
they shocked to see you?
Oh, in a way. So I went back to Dayton Bar and Light. They says, well, you got 2 weeks vacation coming. I says, well, I don't need no more vacation. I just want you to pay me because I've been off 2 weeks now. I already took it.
Uh-huh.
So I went back to work again. And then I got my steam engineer's license.
Same job?
Yeah, it was operation,
Uh-huh.
power plant operator. That's what it was.
And you stayed there until you retired?
38 years, yeah. Yeah. Well,
What was your rank when you got out of the military? You were a corporal?
I was corporal. I made it the second time.
Yeah. Now, how long were you a corporal over there in Korea after they gave it to you the second time?
Probably 6 months.
Uh-huh.
I would guess. I don't know. It wasn't very long. I didn't think long. But see, if I'd have been in the National Guard or something, I'd have moved up a little better. But I never joined nothing. Yeah.
So, as a corporal, were you in charge of that radar unit, or did you have somebody above you?
Well, yeah, we had somebody above us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a sergeant, 2 sergeants. Yeah.
All right. When did you meet your wife to be? When did you meet her when you got back?
Well, I don't know. If that's in the fall of the year, I met her. My sister, Marguerite, my younger sister, introduced me to her. She was a cheerleader. And Mary Lou, my wife, she was a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody I met her in kindergarten, which I didn't have kindergarten Springford. They didn't have it then, yeah. Yeah, we hit off pretty good. Her folks were from New Albany, Indiana, and she went to college in Kentucky, and she got in her Springboro job, and that's how I met her.
You met her in Springboro.
Yeah.
How long did you date Mary Lou before
Well,
you
that's a
got
good
married?
thing. 6 months, and
Okay.
6 months, you know. Yeah, I think it's about what it was. Yeah.
Did your parents know her
My parents, no, they didn't know her. I heard it.
after you got married? How'd they get along with her?
Well, they did pretty good. Yeah, we got along good.
How about her parents? Did you get along with her
Oh,
parents?
yeah, I go, every time I get a weekend off, I'd take her back home, get her battery charged up. That's what I'd say, you know. But, you know, she liked chicken. Her mother always fixed chicken. She was
Uh-huh.
a chicken eater. That's what she liked. Go back to Mama, Betty. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we had 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Paula, she's taking care of my business now. My son, he's kind of laid up. He's had problems.
Now your son is Robert.
Robert, right,
He was born in '57.
right.
And Paula, her last name is what? Worley?
Early now, yeah.
Worley?
Right, is that on there?
Yes.
Okay.
She was born in 1960.
Right.
And what did Robert do? Did Robert go in the military at all?
No, he wasn't in the military. He had problems. They had
Health problem?
Huh?
Health problems?
health problems, yeah. Yeah, he went to the Cleveland Clinic, and the doctor pulled his stomach away from his lungs. He's choking his lungs.
Uh-huh.
And that was a major operation. And then he had 2 shoulder operations, and he's kind of laid up a little. Yeah.
Well,
He worked at the Mound.
Mound in Miamisburg?
Right, and then he went out to, he went out to Utah. Went out to Utah, went to the field, worked at the field after that. And I went out there to visit him. He was testing out these for a guy, when a guy jumps out of an airplane and the parachute opens, they want to make sure that man jumping out is turned right side up. Excuse me. So they were checking out there. They had a train track a mile long out there in Utah,
Uh-huh.
and they put this dummy in there, and they go down the road out so fast the track, kick him out, and make sure he turns right side up.
Mm-hmm.
I went out there to visit him once or twice. Yeah,
And he was part of that experiment?
that's part of that. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That was me. That's that he had his problem.
Where's Robert live now?
He lives down the street about 2 blocks.
Oh, close by.
Yeah.
Is he married?
Yes, he's married, had 2 boys.
What's his wife's name?
Well, he's divorced.
What was her name?
Lisa. And he's got a girlfriend now.
But he's got 2 boys?
Yeah, his boys are in their 30s.
What are their names?
Robert and Thomas.
Okay,
Thomas is married, got 2 kids, but Johnson's not married.
okay. How about Paula?
She had a boy and a girl. Well, she had a boy and a girl. Let's see here. Her son just got married. He's 35 years old. He just got married.
What's his name?
Craig.
Craig?
Yeah.
And he had a she had a girl?
Yeah, Aaron. And
Yeah.
Aaron's got 2 boys. She's married. Yeah.
Where's Paula live?
He lives over Riley Wills over Springburg area,
Okay.
off of 48 over there.
Is her husband still living?
Oh yeah, he retired. I can't think where he worked at, someplace Cincinnati, but he went back to work part time, and he's retired. And my daughter just retired too. Yeah, yeah.
Well, after you got out of service and you went to back to Dayton Power and Light, did you ever go back to school to get a GED degree?
Oh yes, I did better than that.
So tell me about, when did you get your GED?
Well, I don't know. It's about 5 years or so after I was out. I was
Okay.
studying all the time to got a GED. I went and got first class engineer's license, and I ended up getting the chief engineer's license. It don't pay no better with either kind of license you get. It's 3rd class all they count.
Uh-huh.
Well, they need you up there, yeah. Oh yes, I got a GED. Yeah.
So, how did you get your engineer's license? Did you have to take tests?
Oh yes, I took tests, state tests for it, yeah.
Okay.
I take a state test. The first time I took it, I got 3rd class, and so then I worked night shift and that affair, so I just might as well put my time when I'm sitting. I'll study some more, see if I get first. Not that it pays any better, just to satisfy myself,
Right.
make myself feel better. So I study up that. Well, then I had to go to Cincinnati and take that test because they moved the examiner from Dayton to Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got your first class the first time you took it?
No, I didn't get it the first time either.
How many times did you have to take
Take
it?
it twice. I took it twice.
Okay.
I had third. I got second. Then I tried for first, and then I tried again. Got first.
Okay.
Yeah. I know the examiner. His son lives in Franklin, but that didn't make no difference.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was your job as a chief engineer?
Well, no, I was a control operator.
So what did you do?
I worked in the electrical control room. All the electric, the power plant through this control room. All the switching and everything
Okay.
went through this control room up there. I was the only one in there. I had 3 or 4 different telephones. It'd be a busy job sometimes. We put the units on and take them off. We
Okay.
build them up and everything. When the weather changed, it got hotter or colder, they'd back them down, units down.
What did you do if you had any major storms that where you had massive loss of electricity?
Well, they had that up there. They lost the whole plant, but it just happened to be that day off. It was my day off. What they had 2 lines, big power lines, swung across each other, knocked it out, knocked the whole plant out.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wasn't on that day.
Well, how long did the plant stay down?
Well, it took a couple of days to get it back up. Yeah. It stayed down. But see, now, they had these 2 big units down the river. I had an opportunity to go down there, but my wife didn't want to move down there.
Now,
So-
where are you talking about?
West Union, Ohio,
Okay.
down the Ohio River.
All right.
But she didn't want to move down there. We went down and looked around, and it didn't appeal to her, so
Yeah. DP&L had a plant down in Moscow.
right.
Were you anywhere near? Did they want you to go near there?
Well, no, I went down there and visited.
Okay.
We went down, a whole bunch of guys went down and looked it over. That's a power plant, an atomic plant. That was a nuclear more or less. They took it down, changed it back.
Okay.
People would have complained, which it had been cheap electric if they'd done it. Yeah,
Now there was a Hutchins station.
that's where I worked right up here.
Right, that's where you actually worked.
Well, see,
Right here in Miamisburg.
See, that's another thing. That's something else that's following me around. They shutting it down. After I left, they started shutting it down. Now they're tearing it down now. I got 3 smokestacks. That'll be the last thing to come down. I can just go down the road and see things that are changing after 90 years. You can too,
Right.
probably Middletown.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, these power plants, all the ductwork was covered with asbestos.
That's
Now,
it.
were you exposed to any of that?
Yes, I was.
Have you ever been diagnosed with
I've
asbestos?
been checked on it.
Good.
I tried to collect, but I couldn't get nothing out.
You don't have asbestosis?
No.
Good.
I don't.
Good.
I've got a little bit of problem, but it ain't that way.
All right. Good.
It ain't that bad, no.
Good.
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't that lucky.
Well, we had a couple up there that drawed it.
Yeah.
The electrician. I'll get a little cough here. Yeah, so far. Yeah. Yeah. I've been doing pretty good. I had an old truck, a picture up there on top of the refrigerator over there, an old 28 truck. I took it to a guy to get worked on here a while back, put a gas tank in. He come back and he says, told me all the little things that's wrong with it. I says, you don't get to be 90 years old. It's a 28 model and I'm a 30. And you don't get that old without having some problems. Yeah, I got problems. Everybody's got them.
Okay, now you were born in 30, so you would have been about 11 years old when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor
That would be,
in 1941.
yeah, you're right. You're
Do you
right.
remember?
Oh, yes, I remember that. I remember President Roosevelt getting on there and saying what he said. I forget how he said. I forget the words he put out. Yeah.
Do you remember any reaction by your mom and dad at that time?
Well, no, I remember the C rations for gasoline, the
Okay.
stickers on the windows. You remember them?
Yeah.
C&A's and all that stuff. Yeah.
And
My
you
dad-
couldn't even buy a new car.
No,
They
you
weren't
couldn't.
making cars.
No, you couldn't get any for a while. Yeah.
Couldn't buy tires.
Didn't get nothing.
Now, did you?
Sugar ration.
Yeah, flour, sugar, and all that.
Yeah,
You had a little coupon book.
that's right.
Did your mother hoard anything so that?
Well, everybody put a little bit back. You know.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they good. Yeah.
Now, my recollection is, and I don't know if your mother did, but I remember my mother would save bacon grease,
Oh yeah.
and somebody would come around and collect that. Do you know what that was used for? That had something to do with ammunition, I think.
Oh yeah. But see, nowadays they got these diesel trucks. They go around these places, collect that grease, and run that grease to the diesel. And the cars run them. But the dogs like that too. They go over, lick
But during the war, did your mom
Oh, yeah.
save that kind of stuff?
we save stuff like that. Yeah.
And somebody come around and collect that?
That's right. I remember doing that. Yeah.
And did she save tinware? If she had cans of soup or anything, did she save tin?
And I can remember that too. Yeah. And remember saving things. Yeah. Yeah. That's going back. I hadn't even thought about it like that.
Now, when you lived in town, did you have a bread man that delivered bread, or did your mom go to the store?
Well, back in them days, you had a milkman, bread man, potato chip man, and you name a few others. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we lived over in the country there. We had a farmer behind us. I'd go over with a jug and you get a gallon of milk every couple of days.
Okay.
I mean, I'd across the field to him. And I forget what I paid, but it wasn't very much.
Well, how did your family heat the house? Did you have coal or?
Well, that house my dad rebuilt or burnt
Uh-huh.
down. He had a stoker
Okay.
in it. You
Okay.
get that stoker going. That's be my job. Fill that stoker up.
And did you have coal delivered to the house?
Yeah, from Franklin, yeah, delivered over there. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, we eat it with coal. Yeah. Yeah, I admit we raised chickens, and everybody had chickens back in them days.
Right.
Everybody had chickens. Everybody had a path out back too.
Right.
Everything's different now. The world changes.
Using the facility outside was a little difficult in the wintertime, wasn't it?
I'll tell you a story about that. My daughter went with me down to see my wife's folks down in Kentucky, and she had to use the bathroom. So she went outside, so she never seen one of them. My daughter did. That's the first time she ever seen one outhouses, and she couldn't hardly believe it. Imagine, you know, and we see stuff like that.
Sure.
We don't pay attention to it.
Sure.
But she
My
couldn't
grandparents,
imagine that. You
my
know.
grandparents had one of those that I used.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And, I tell you another. I took my son hunting one day. I got this squirrel, and I was cleaning this squirrel up. Oh, he went and told Mom. He said, "My dad's the meanest guy I ever seen." He said, "They're cutting that squirrel up out there." He thought that's terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine. The first time my uncle was taking rabbits and doing. I mean, it you know, you don't see it. It does get you. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not taught that way.
So you hunted squirrel. Did you hunt rabbit?
Oh yeah, got him right up there too. That big buck there.
Did you hunt pheasants and quail?
Yeah, I got a pheasant one time
Uh-huh.
over at Springburg.
Now what gun did you use?
I had a 20 gauge.
Okay.
I borrowed it from my buddy. Yeah,
All right.
I shot that with a 12 gauge. No, I shot that with a bow and arrow. That with a bow and arrow there.
Oh, wow.
I got that in the bow down
Okay.
Jackson, Ohio. Hey, I was sitting right here one day, looked out there, and there's 3 deer right there in the backyard. Well, I looked up there, my camera was up on the mantle. So I grabbed it, took a picture here, done it there, and went around the front. It flashed on it, wouldn't go through the glass.
Oh.
I didn't get no picture.
Oh shoot.
So I take this deer head out there and stick the head around the side of this barn out there.
Took a picture of it.
And told there's the buck in my yard the other day. There's his head. You know, that's fun, you know.
Now, before we went on camera, you were talking to Mary and myself. My wife Mary is our camera lady.
Okay.
You were talking about some of the lighting fixtures here in your house.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about those.
Well, I started out as a hobby, like I've seen some of them made, and my dad was retired about that time. So, excuse me, he wanted something to do, and he retired. So we got to checking around. We found this guy over here in Franklin that had some old antique tools that come out of the Conover hardware store in Franklin that they used to make stovepipes and stuff with.
Okay.
So I went over and talked to him. Well, my dad was telling me where he was. I went over to see him. He took me out to the barn, showed him to me, started talking about it. Okay, and here come his son. He said, "Dad, I tell you," he said, "I put a big price on them tools." Right there, the price went up.
Uh-huh.
Oh well, I ended up getting. I got a whole truckload for $35. That wasn't bad.
Wow.
So we both started doing it.
Well, now you've got lanterns and you've got your chandelier.
Cookie cutters, I make.
And how did you learn to do that?
Well, and I'll
Did
tell
you
you
have
what.
books that you had or patterns?
Not really. You would. I'll tell you what. I bought these tools off this guy. Where his name was. I can't think of his name. I get it into it. But anyway, I said, "Tell me how to work them." He said, "You're just going to have to learn the hard way." He said, "I don't even know myself how to do them."
Oh, wow.
So I can remember when I was a kid, when I went to Mimesburg with my grandparents, there was a tin shop down there in Mimesburg called Shell. And I remember walking through there and seeing them tools just like I got. And you amazed me. The little land tools, you know.
Sure.
And so then between me and my dad, he showed me how some of them he knew how to work. So I learned how to do it then. I tell you what, you take that lantern there, put that top on there, you got to make that fit out perfect. And if you don't know how, it ain't gonna work. It took me a while to figure that out.
Sure.
Some of this stuff you did.
Sure.
Some of the other stuff you learn how to do it. That's how we learned this, do by the hard way, I guess you say. But that's I've been doing it 50 years as a hobby. And I did shows. I do big shows then after I retired.
So you make it to sell too?
Oh yeah, I was sold out pretty good at it.
Good.
If I'd have known I could do that great, I'd have quit my job a long time ago up Dave Farm Life. But you gotta stay to a place you get fringe benefits. You gotta get your hospitalization insurance.
Yeah.
That's what you need. That's worth more than anything. Yeah.
So where was your shop when you were doing this? You're in the house?
I got it in the basement.
You got it in the basement?
Well, I started put it out there in the garage, so then I moved it in the basement. Yeah.
So you still have all your tools?
But now I sold some of them. I like to sell the rest of them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're fun. It's a challenge. You go to these shows. I've been to shows like Yankee Peddler. That's a 3 weekend show, 3 weekend in a row show. And they people come around and they ask you, can you do this? Can you do that? They say that's easy. I said, yeah, it might look easy, but some of that stuff you can't do. Some of these tools I got's over 100 years old, and some of them if they're new, I got to make some. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a challenge. It's fun. It's interesting. But to spend a lot of time on the road. Now I was 20 shows in a year, 20 weekends in a year.
Oh, wow.
That's getting away from my wife too much.
Yeah.
I had to quit.
How far away would you go for a show?
Well, let's see here. Indianapolis.
You go up to Michigan, Kentucky?
No, I went to West Virginia. I went to Kentucky. And went local, that's about it, Kentucky. Indianapolis. No, Richmond. No, Indianapolis. My brother-in-law lived over there, yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun challenge thing. But you go around and you see something made out of tin, you look at it, you want to see how it's put together.
Right.
You know how it is.
Yes.
You know, something you're really interested in, you'll follow it down, just if you really want to do it.
So how much did you weigh where you were in service?
What I weigh?
Yeah.
Well, I looked at that. 150 pounds, it said there.
150 pounds.
Yeah.
And how if you're like me, you're shrinking a little bit.
Well, that's
how tall were you?
5'10".
Okay.
Well, something like that, yeah. That's about what it was. 5'10", that's about how what it is on there. I looked at that, I weighed 150. I don't know whether they get the height in there or not. I was 150 on that paper you got there, I think. I weigh about 180 now. I never put on too much. Yeah. Someplace it tells you on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it up. I forgot all about that. You know.
Gosh, how much were you getting paid as a corporal?
Well, I started out as a private,
I know.
$72.
So what'd you make as a corporal?
I can't remember what it was. I tell you on there maybe $10 more a month, or much more than that. I don't know whether to tell you or not.
Well,
We can tell you about a corporal got.
when you got a check, when you separated, you got $226.20.
So that went further down than $500 go.
Yeah. And your travel allowance of $16.26.
So yeah. Well, I tell you what. I went to the VA the other day, and they wanted to check me. They wanted to check my eyes and everything, my hearing and everything. So lo and behold, what did they do? Sent me to Indianapolis to get my eyes examined.
All the way to Indianapolis?
Get my eyes examined. Well, I had to take somebody with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you dilate your eyes. You
Yeah,
can't
they
drive.
go with me. Well, after they checked it, it's okay. So I don't know why I did that for. Then I come back and got my glasses over in Springboro.
Well, who went over with you to drive?
My
back?
friend, no, my friend did. Kenny
Kenny what?
Watson, he's Air Force man.
Is he still living?
Oh yeah, he lives in Franklin. I'm gonna get him to see you.
So, was he in the Air Force over in Korea?
No, he was younger than I am.
Okay.
He's 80. He's your age. How old are you?
83.
That's about your age, yeah.
83 2 days ago.
Okay, well, hey, you're not bad for mine. I got 20 days or something. 22nd, first day of the fall. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, let me look at my notes here. What was your stepmother's name?
Madge,
Madge?
yeah.
What was her maiden name?
Buck.
Madge Buck?
Yeah,
Where was she from?
Indiana. No, it was Ohio, almost Indiana. We haven't even been a town over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad met her dancing. That's how I met my first mother, my real mother. They dancing.
Okay.
He liked to dance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he did. A pretty good dancer,
He did the old soft shoe on both of them, huh?
I guess. That. Yeah.
Well, looking at my notes here, your brother Frank died in 1942 when he was 10.
That's right. He's born 32.
Bill was, he died in 2014, so he was 80.
Yeah.
And
He lived in Florida at the time he died.
Marguerite's still living, and Nancy's still living.
Right.
Mary Lou died May of last year.
Yeah, she's been a little over a year.
Yeah.
I miss her, I tell you.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
Yeah, I got a picture. You want to put that on there? I'd have to get the
Over
picture.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, take your microphone off and
I'll go-
get your picture, and also get me that lantern so we can, or
Well, I
get me
can
something that we can
turn,
show.
I can turn the
Well,
camera.
I'll get you a lantern.
Okay, because it's beautiful.
I'll plug it in for you. Got one right here. Not that I,
Oh, yeah.
I'll see if I got it. I may not have a light in it. So this, no. It don't have a light in it.
Well, that's all right, just, we can show
Let
it.
me,
The craftsmanship is really good.
I got it. It's treated. I'll get you a picture of my
it's beautiful. I'm gonna,
That was at the funeral home.
What did I do with your microphone?
I put my hat on now. You get the picture of me. I'll put this one on.
yeah,
Come back.
nice.
Okay. Here we go. Can you see that?
Hold it up, higher, excellent. There.
See that? That's Mary Lou?
That's Mary Lou. Yeah. He's born 31.
January 20, 1931.
Right.
Yeah.
That's from the funeral home.
And then we were showing one of your lanterns,
Okay.
and how long would it take you to make one of these
Well,
from start to finish?
I after you've made one or two, you decide you don't want to just make one, so you make a half a dozen.
All
So
right.
to do a little faster. Well, I say, depending on how long you want to make it. You spend all day on it, or you spend, if you already got the pattern cut out, put it together in an hour. If you haven't got it cut out and everything.
Uh-huh.
But they got a punch, that's all punched by hand like that,
Yeah.
with a hammer and chisel, yeah.
And
That's a quilt pattern's on there. It's Ohio quilt pattern.
Ohio
It's on
Star.
Ohio Star, quilt pattern star.
and your name of your little business was Hart Tin Crafts.
That's what I got by,
Yeah.
I went down to Bob Evans' farm down there, did show. I got a picture of Bob Evans. I put his picture on one of them. Oh yeah,
Oh, really?
oh yeah. I could probably put him by his owner if I had to sketch it, but it takes a while. You got to do it right. You know what I mean? I didn't want to start out telling people to do it, but it's a challenge. My dad started out doing it together, and he between him and me, we did it.
There's a small map of Korea. I don't know. Mary, can you see
I
that?
can see it, but I can't read it.
Okay, but you see the outline of it? Mm-hmm. And Busan is down here where you landed,
Right, in the water.
and Seoul is up here,
So
right there where
the
my
capital
finger
area.
is.
Of it, yeah,
Yeah, right up here.
yeah,
And so you took the train for Busan up to Seoul,
right.
and that's where you saw all the
Oh, man,
devastation
it's-
on the way up.
That's a terrible sight. It's for a young guy to see, you know what I mean?
First time you have been exposed to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard on the guy.
Well,
That's it over there the first day over there, man. That scared the tar out of you, you know. You don't know what's happening, you know what I mean?
well, you had a couple of close calls. You had one where the shrapnel comes right past you.
It landed right beside me. I reached over and picked it up, burnt my finger. And I should have showed it to you. I can't find it, you know, I laid it down someplace.
And then you had the one where you're naked in the shower.
I was taking a shower out back and I flew right over the top of me.
Did you have any other close calls?
Well, when I told you when he put that deuce and a half in the minefield,
And you're riding in the truck, and
I
it's,
got out to help move the gate, and I was standing out there trying to move the gate. Oh, here come the truck. He didn't put it in gear brake, and it went into the minefield, and I was looking for something to blow right there. And then there was another time when he was going down the road when they're shooting at us and blocks in the road. And they spot trying to get us, yeah. And that's the closest I've had, other than that, those 2 or 3, yeah.
was that when you lost the barrels?
No, that's when we lost the barrels, yeah. Yeah, they was blocking it, enemy orders dropping. This must seen us.
Yeah.
You best had these lights on.
Yeah,
That's what I mean, man. Learn your lesson fast, boy.
sure.
But we didn't know what that was. What is that up there in the road? Oh, now we know what it is. Yeah, man.
Well, we've talked a good bit about you and your family. Is there anything that you can think of that we haven't talked about, Tom, that you thought might be of interest down the road?
Well, I don't know right off. But I thought we covered pretty good. I don't know what it would be.
All right, let me have your hat here.
Okay.
And what is this?
That is VA in Dayton, where they
Okay.
started up there.
And
That's, you know what that is on.
listen,
Let's see what they get. What is that? That isn't what that is. That's right. That's an airplane. Wright Brothers airplane. Dayton, Ohio. Yeah. That's what that is.
okay,
And that one there, so,
all right.
yeah.
Well, let me thank you for your service.
Okay, I'm glad
Thank
to
you-
do it.
Thank you for doing this interview. It's been very
Okay,
interesting.
okay, good
Thank you,
deal.
Lynn.